have done it better myself.
This confirms it. It sure does. Older versions of us. Places and enemies from our past. We're traveling through time, Sonic!
Without the time stones?
It's like that big thing that kidnapped Eggman can consume time. And then it looks like it dragged your friends here. I mean, our friends. You know what I mean. There it is! Where'd it go?
We need to track it down, and fast!
Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to Sonic X Shadow Generations, and this is pretty much another reason why I'm also truncating the story and or gameplay-ish thing into a more linear fashion for, well, the Sonic Generations portion, because now that we've pretty much got the main plot thread made and established, you know, two Sonics teaming up and meeting up with each other, yeah, from this point on, it's pretty much just a very basic sort of Sonic both modern and classic, as well as Tails both modern and classic. Need to stop this giant evil monster thing from consuming time and restore order to the timelines, get Chaos Emeralds, and that's pretty much all the cutscenes that are going to be there from there. By the way, little thing that I just shut off right there. You can actually stop the cars if you stand in the middle of the street. Which is something that wouldn't happen on a busy highway, because I guarantee you, Sonic the Hedgehog would be Sonic the Roadkill. Yes. But in any case though, this is Speed Highway, the stage from Sonic Adventure, given a very fucking loving rendition here where we got to, well, get to explore a lot more inside the hotels and areas that we didn't quite get to see much of in the original Sonic Adventure, because they didn't really bother to model it, as well. There's a lot of great graphical detail, you know, put into the little posters and, you know, little areas here and there. It's going to go into a little bit of a point I'm going to bring up a little bit later, but in the meantime, back to story context before I completely forget myself. Yeah, it's also part of the other reason why I'm not really, you know, sort of bothering to do a faithfully complete Generations playthrough, for lack of a better phrase, because all you'd be really seeing in terms of cutscenes, you know, if I wasn't cutting it down, would basically just be, "Thank you for releasing me," insert line replying to either of the two Sonics. And then would also be, you know, just basic shit like, "Oh no, we gotta get the Chaos Emeralds and stop that evil monster that occasionally comes out and goes for a swipe. Oh no, I guess it doesn't like the Chaos Emeralds, guess we better get them." So yeah, do forgive me if I'm cutting out a few redundancies here and there, but trust me, you're not missing much, and if you do want to experience Generations as a full package, well, I mean, I'm currently recording this on New Year's Eve, 2024, so I mean, you know, this game was recently released, or by the time you're probably seeing this part, was released last year, so it should still be in shops now, so pick up a copy or download it online. Whatever's your poison, really, but, yeah, it's neither here nor there in this case. Yeah, Classic Sonic segment does still pick up a lot of the good beats of, you know, the typical Speed Highway. It doesn't rip off, you know, Mega Drive era gameplay too much, but, you know, it keeps all the beats of the original stages, which, again, is something that I feel that Generations does best. It keeps a lot of the original stage elements, you know, present from the original games, and pays homage to a few other things, like the little spinning top thing in Angel Island being something that I think was actually taken from Marble Garden Zone. But yeah, you get a lot of little, you know, unique bits and pieces and touches like that just really go to make Generations feel like a tribute to the entire series as opposed to just a few specific games. I'm not gonna name names here, but Snark Money are. Trying to be some alternate history bullshit is something that comes to mind. But yeah, regardless though, our banging tune of the now is pretty much some tracks from Sonic Riders. Really because I felt like it sort of felt classic Sonic in the sense that it's, you know, a lot of electronica, and in turn it's also, you know, high energy and action-packed techno tunes, so yeah, felt like it fit. Classic Sonic, enjoying himself in the city. And stop around, and by the way, there are actually, I mean, I did kind of point this out in the, you know, the hotel area, but I mean, there are actually a lot of places to see and peer inside the windows. Like, I mean, they did actually bother to model a few things inside the buildings, which is more than what I expected for Sonic Team to go out and do, but again, as I said beforehand, it does tie into my previous point that there is a lot of detail that Sonic Team puts into these levels, and it's stuff that you kind of wish you could explore, but you don't really get the chance, so... Yeah. My heart goes out to, you know, Sonic Team's, you know, art team, both for the in-game assets and the art designers, but, yeah. Sometimes some of their work just sort of blows by in the background, which you can't really help because, I mean, it is a game and not to sort of explore Motron, find where everything goes, but... Yeah, I mean, as you pass by, you know, the little hotel area right here, you get to see, you know, the interior of a gym, the inside of some offices, a few restaurants. Really, a lot of detail that just goes unnoticed, and that's, kind of saddening, to be perfectly honest. But in any case, so it's also here where we get introduced to the Lightspeed Dash, working similar to how it was in Sonic Adventure 2. It is also a little bit more, easily telegraphed compared to what it would have been beforehand, so, yeah, you can pretty much go about your merry way, but, yeah, I sense death in my future. Not yet, but it is coming, like a sidetrack in my mind. And it only really happens because I have enough for Super Sonic, and I transform here even though, yeah, Generations runs into the Sonic Adventure 2 problem of mapping too many button inputs to one fucking controller. But anyway, as we use the drop dash, a mechanic that was not intended for this game, but is here anyway, and I try and show off a few other pathways, but unfortunately, well, it gets the better of me as I try to fly, but then I fail, and I fail again by using the drop dash. I'm sorry, that was just a funny death that I figured it was worth showing twice, but yeah, I've never been able to grab onto that helicopter, so yeah, whoopsie doodle. It might be possible, but I have no idea how you do it. I think you might be able to do it with I want to say you get, like, the time break ability as one of the last abilities you get by completing the game with all the challenges and all that from the ability shop, but yeah, experiments for a future playthrough. In any case, though, Speed Highway. A really great reimagining of the stage from Sonic Adventure, and yeah, the one stage especially, really fucking enjoyable. Whee! So much fun to be had. And again, like with classic Sonic, a lot of details to see and do, and really, you know, it pays attention to a lot of the good stuff. And of course, you're also going to get a lot of the iconic things like, you know, running down the building at, you know, high speeds, which I am going to show quite well. But again, this is just me showing off more of the detail. Again, the very nicely detailed, realistic hotel room, it's like, look everybody, Sonic's right outside your fucking house. Which, I don't know. It was always some of the more fun things I like to do on Unleashed, where you got to see, you know, Sonic walking around outside your street, or, you know, towards a lot of parts of the world, which, you know, sort of gave, like, the mixture between realistic and cartoony art design something a little bit more fun to do. But anyway, to kind of talk about the level design a little bit more hand in terms of gameplay functionality, yeah, you do have a lot of places to explore here and there, mainly just to find hidden goodies, as you can see over there, but it's mainly just rings and little places here and there. Like, looking at a lot of the billboards, and by the way, if you do look closely, yeah, the names are very Englishy, so they didn't bother to translate the text very well, because they weren't expecting people to stop and smell the roses. But I did. And yeah, I mean, if I could sort of point to a bit of a personal thing, really, is that, again, it's mainly just due to my inner exploratory nature in Sonic games, which I guess in turn does kind of make me, you know, enjoy games like Sonic Adventure and even Frontiers, you know, much to the media nerds' anger, fist-shaking dismay, which we'll talk about in a second. You look, oh my god, sick as hell, Super Sonic blasting down the building, sick as hell in Sonic Adventure, and still sick now. That is the fucking money shot. And again, it's all in all great segment, but anyway, back to what I was talking about with the design. Again, you do have a few nooks and crannies to explore, you know, with Generations gameplay, but the problem is, and again, there are pathways that you can take, as I've been showing pretty much all throughout the Sonic segment of this, you know, Sonic X Shadow Generations portion. It's just that, yeah, you don't really get to see, like, a lot of, and I'm not really sure what to say. It's not that you don't get to explore much, it's just that, I don't know, it's just more there to be blurred by as opposed to, you know, finding something cool or finding some hidden places that, you know, feel sort of lived in, really. I mean, you get to look at it, but you don't get to touch it. Which I say really is something more contrasting to Sonic Adventure, where, you know, you did legitimately get to, you know, bear witness to the characters visiting, you know, Eggman's, you know, egg carrier, where you got to see, you know, his bedroom, you got to see his, you know, his little arcade area, you know, you got to see his swimming pool, all sorts of areas that didn't really serve a lot of a functional purpose, but, you know, just built the world up, and, you know, Generations does sort of do that by what you get to explore with some of the levels and peer into it, but it's more like you're a wee lad on Christmas morning, peering out into the cold going, oh, I would like to play in this world, but alas, you're not allowed to. All you have to do is just race through and video game the level. And again, it's really more a focus of design. Generations is intending to be a much more linear experience with, multiple pathways to take for extreme speed. But at the same time, just look at that. Like, I mean, Sonic Team went to the effort of, modeling an office and, putting furniture and everywhere and all that, and, you just don't really get to interact with it, which, again, is one of the positive points that Sonic Adventure had to its name, but, a lot of the other games in the series either just don't give a fuck about, or just sort of let you look into, and you're just staring outside going, Bobo, I want to see it. But yeah, a nice little homage to the ending area of Sonic Adventure's Speed Highway segment, where you can see Dawn off the distance, and sadly you don't get to interact with, the early morning streets of Station Square. But whatever, we have no time for that, because now we have City Escape. Yes, classic Sonic, in San Francisco, which was also part of the Generations trailer, or at least one of them anyway, but yeah, classic Sonic. He's in your city, right now, without being part of the Macy's Day Parade, or being involved in Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger. There will be no Turbo Man, there will be no Jake Lloyd, there will be no Sinbad, the horrible, horrible comedian. Ah yes, wouldn't it be cool to have classic Sonic just grinding up on top of your roof? There we go. But yeah, one of the cool gimmicks of this level that I'm kind of ashamed that I didn't really get to show off that much is the skateboarding minigame. Well, not really a minigame, but more of a thing you can just sort of do in the levels. You can jump off ramps and, sort of be a little bit radical. Cool, dude! But yeah, part of the reason why I fucked that up is because, well, I'm not very good at video games. But the other reason of which being is that, again, if you hit the wall at any time, well, that pretty much throws off your groove, and, yeah, it's pretty much meant to be classic Sonic's variant of the whole streetboarding segment that modern Sonic gets to play with when, he gets to his version, but... yeah, well, yeah, nothing really to worry about, and, yeah, as a stage has it, it actually decides to use the gun truck from Sonic Adventure 2 as something that's pretty much chasing classic Sonic down and, pretty much trying to get up in his grill. Of course, bearing in mind that at this point in history, the gun truck was pretty much after Sonic because, he was a criminal and they were pretty much trying to cover their tracks with the whole Project Shadow kind of thing. Ugh. Son of a fucking Fruit Loop. I wanted to do some sick skateboarding, but alas, it was not meant to be. Now, I mean, we will get a little bit more skateboarding action, but, sadly, I didn't get to be cool and radical and show it off fully. Although, that being said, though, there is actually a little power-up you can actually get in the skill shop, which, yeah, you can pretty much pull out the skateboard at any time. So... yeah, that's pretty cool. If you want to be the lord of the board, dude! And then you can have the Singapore dub of Sonic X. Like what they had with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters thing, where Sonic is voiced by a surfer going, "Looking good, dude!" Yeah, well, by the way, you also have a few missing posters to, Marty and Ray, and fucking Dicko and shit cunt the Dynamite or whatever from Sonic the Fighters. Of course, this was back in the day before they were sort of vaguely brought back in Sonic... actually, were they even technically brought back? Because I think all that was, it was like an illusion kind of thing. I don't really know what Sega's stance on it is. They have like this weird thing where like some classic characters can only appear in like classic continuity, as is the case with Fang the Sniper, but... yeah, but apparently they can't show up in modern Sonic, even though the Chaotix showed up in classic Sonic, but when Heroes and this game and... yeah, I don't know, Sega is very, very, very weird with the character rights. And again, it's not even a case of different people owning different characters, as was thought to be the case with Mighty and Ray, back in the early 90s, because Sega does own them and they do show them, they do show up in Sonic Mania Plus, so really, who knows what the fuck is going on anymore? I certainly don't. But whatever. I'm happy. It's City Escape. Everything's cool, I'm happy, and everything is gonna be good again. It's 2011, I don't have to worry about being old or, having to work. Sonic Generations, everything's good. I will say though, I mean, this was one hell of a fucking surprise for me. By the time I got to this level, because I mean, not only was it sick as hell, you were grunting on top of all sorts of crazy shit, but... yeah, this is also a really well-realized version of City Escape. It is sick as hell, captures the streetboarding essence, and yeah, overall it's just a really fun level. And I mean, again, contrary to what I was saying earlier about the game's level design, which, letting you explore the places, Generations does actually open the scope a little bit more compared to Sonic Adventure 2's more linear design, where you actually get to, you know, run around the parks a little bit more, explore a few nooks and crannies, and, again, as is typical Sonic Adventure tradition, knock over some cars. Because Sonic Team constantly got parking tickets while they were developing the game, because of stingy San Francisco police officer parking ticket man. Fun. But yeah, a little cool thing with some of the musical tracks here, with particularly with this remix in Generations, is that again they did get you know, Ted Poley and Tony Harness back to, you know, record a few vocal tracks, and particularly with a remix of Escape from the City, as you know you're listening to right here. But yeah, one cool thing is that they actually also break into a little medley of It Doesn't Matter from the Sonic Adventure 2 version. So yeah, you do technically get to hear, you know, a little bit of both, which is pretty good. As well as a few additional lyrics that they did have for, you know, the secondary segment that follows from the It Doesn't Matter medley, which, yeah, great stuff. I mean, to be completely honest, it can't be understated just how much of a celebration and how much of a party Sonic Generation really was back when the game first came out, because, I mean, not just was it paying, you know, respects to all of Sonic's history, even 06, which, I mean, at the time was fucking raked over the coals, oh no, this is evil and the ultimate demon of the Sonic series, but you know, just in turn, the fact that everybody from, you know, fans, general audiences, and critics alike were fairly positive about the series, which is... I mean, again, I'm not going to say it was completely unheard of, because, I mean, even somewhat to this day, whether it be either through the movies with new fans, or, you know, even through the games with some audiences really seeming to enjoy this era of Sonic, I'm not going to say it's completely like it was, you know, back in the 90s, or even during the grace period of Generations, before the Dark Times, before the Lost World and the Sonic Boom and the Forces, but I don't know. Yeah, it was certainly a much more positive time for a lot of people, you know, when Sonic was doing relatively well. But, you know, we've done this dance before. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop in this era, and then I can return to being just as cynical as the media nerd is right now. And yes, there's another picture of Bean and Bark and Fang the Sniper, who I think as of Sonic Superstars I renamed to Fang the Hunter. Couldn't really tell you why. I mean, is Sniper really such a bad word? I mean, apart from it referring to a gun? I mean, I technically have laser blasters and they're projectiles, so really what's the difference? Whatever, I'll just... let's have a look at Sonic standing outside of somebody's house and destroy people's cars. And cue everybody's 2011 overreaction to, oh my god, the gun truck with buzz saws, and also jet boosters, as you'll eventually see. Anyway, don't try and transform into Super Sonic here, because I tried to do it. Harness the power of the Chaos Emerdoodle, but they failed! So, super transformation for me. But yeah, it's pretty much just another side-stepping segment, and yeah, no Big the Cat cameo for you, but yes. It's all pretty good in the hood. And you can also jump onto those little side ventilation systems, just for some extra added thrills, dude. By the way, is this meant to be the side of a building, or is... because I'm seeing, like, windows and all sorts of things that shouldn't be going on top of this. Again, abstract video game design, so I'm not really going to question much of it, but even still... somebody's skylights must be very fucking broken right now. Millions of dollars of gun property destroyed. Damn you, Sonic, for making the military obsolete. Oh my god, their cars have exploded! And, yeah, pretty much for the end of this, I'm just sort of gonna be going around looking at people's houses. Man, that lawn needs a serious fucking mowing, but, yeah, you get a lot of cute little advertisements. Coffee Blaze, Tails Pizza, Chow in Space 3. Yeah, Tails owns a pizza joint. What a fun time to be alive, but in any case, I am Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and next time on the Sonic X Shadow Generations commentary, we tackle more of the Dreamcast era. Catch you later.